Welcome to Le Foot, your podcast about French football, and today we will dig into a fiery title race that is heating up week by week, where Lens is back on top after a brilliant 5-0 win in Paris, and as Rennes shocked PSG at Roazhon Park. Marseille falls deeper into crisis after a late equalizer from Strasbourg, and Lyon just keeps on winning. The Marseille crisis will be covered as we give our take. And speaking of crisis, Auxerre grabbed a long-awaited crucial victory against Metz. None of these, though, are Club of the Week. It's time for Toulouse. We have another round of What If, discuss must-watch goals might be done, and the weekend coming up, and also, as always, much more. On y va. Jeff Dennis, nice to sit here again talking about our beautiful league. How are you doing, Jeff?
Great. Starting to get a habit of seeing each other here on these Monday evenings. And for all your listeners out there, I don't know if you've seen, but Stockholm at the moment is beautiful. You should look at videos online. You can walk around our beautiful city because there's ice everywhere.
On the lakes.
And the sun has finally decided to show up again. So yeah, I'm not doing too bad.
It's cold though. What did you do, Dennis? Valentine's? Anything nice?
I had some French food actually on a French restaurant.
What did you have?
I had a French onion soup, amongst other things. It was at a restaurant called Chez Julie.
Okay.
I must recommend it.
Okay, well recommended.
Very good.
I'm curious though, what other things?
At the restaurant?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we started with some bread and some tapenade.
And some McDonald's?
McDonald's.
Ended up at McDonald's.
Well, yeah, I have to admit, today I had McDonald's.
I'm gonna counterattack your lovely dinner and say I just went for McDonald's. Always, the best.
That's good. As it should be, given its Ligue.
First game to kick this episode off is a must to be Rennes versus PSG. I remember all of us last week saying that Rennes wouldn't have a chance, but
we were wrong.
We were wrong, and I think they did a very great performance and very nice for the team and Sébastien Tambouret on his first game as a head coach, interim coach, to get this victory. What happened?
I mean, I would say first half Rennes came out and flying. Great first half performance. You know, also crowning it with a goal from Soumaré. Fantastic performance. All throughout the game, really good performance. And I don't know, I think the attack, they looked dangerous. They had a shot on the post from far from LePaul early on. And
great shot.
And from there on, it felt like, okay, Rennes can actually do something. The audience in Roazhon Park was with them. And I think many players performed great in the same game. And that's not always what you see. And I don't know, like you say, interim coach, new energy. I mean, this is a big, big victory. Beating PSG at home.
Yeah, and especially the form PSG have had recently. I mean, they came from come from this game from winning against OM 5-0. And Dembele in great form. He also scored today. So yes, tough opponent, but a victor with 3-1. But I must say, apart from a couple of chances that PSG created, mostly orchestrated by Dembele, I would say that Rennes won by being the better team throughout the 90 minutes. For sure.
But I also want to call out Samba in goal for Rennes, doing a fantastic performance. Brassier in defense, Soumaré and LePaul attack-wise. I mean, when you have a core of a team performing on this level, they can do great things. But beating PSG, I still have to look at that PSG performance and see. I would say they can't be too happy with themselves. I think they have a high expected goals, but they are not... they're not hitting it in. This time they started with Kvaratskhelia and Doué. They're not doing it, I would say, at the moment.
No, but I also think that, I would say recently Dembele have stepped up and he has been writing great goals. But apart from that, Barcola, Ramos, Doué, all of them had a couple of chances today. And they could have scored that 2-2 goal before they went up 3-1. So, I mean, them great players, if they play on the level they're capable of, they could have won this game with 3-2, you know? So it's just about all these players have to get into their best shape and start playing more or contributing as a team, because right now the top three up there, apart from Dembélé, do not look that strong at the moment, I think.
No, and is there any players you would like to see in that 11 for PSG? I mean, someone you want to see out of the 11, someone you want to see in the 11 that could take someone's place?
I don't know, actually. I mean, Dembélé is I feel like he's an obvious choice.
Yeah, he must be there.
Yeah, I feel like Doué also obvious choice. Barcola, obvious choice. Maybe something in the defense in that case.
Because I'm thinking, I know he's like older player now, but Marquinhos in the back instead of Sabarni could be a pick from my side. I'm thinking Sabarni this game, he had some moments where I think he's not on a PSG level. To be honest, I mean, he has done some performances now over the season. That's fine, but looking at this game isolated, I would say, as a central defender in a top team, Marquinhos with his routine experience, he could have been a better pick. But it's easy to say, of course, after that this team should still be able to beat Rennes.
Yes.
Jeff, anyone you would like to single out that could be exchanged?
I think with the players they have, it's just about getting them right in the tempo again. And I think they have a great chance of winning the league. I mean, they're big favorites, and also going a long way in the Champions League. But I would like to question their goalkeeper situation. They've previously had Lucas Cavalier, and now most recently they played Safonov in the goalkeeper. And you can't blame him for them losing against Rennes the other day. But, you know, having in mind the teams that won the Champions League or, you know, their respective leagues, it's always a great goalkeeper. We can take a look on last year when PSG won, they had Donnarumma, who's probably one of the top three in the world.
Yeah.
Before that, you have like Courtois for Real Madrid, you have Ederson for City, Mendy, Chelsea, perhaps not the best, but he was good in 2021. Before that, Neuer and Alisson. Like, they all have great goalkeepers.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying that's why they lost, but having a good goalkeeper, you know, also helps the defenders in some extent. You know, it helps the team overall with the nervousity that can come up. So I think that might be an issue going forward, especially in the Champions League.
I agree, and I think the idea must have been that Cavalier should be the first pick after Donnarumma, I mean, when they bring him in. But now it feels like Safonov has taken his place. He's sitting on the bench. I think he's ready to play. But I can totally agree on the fact that do they even have one of those two which is good enough for the level they are competing? They are competing for Champions League title. They are competing, of course, for Ligue title. Ligue they could manage, for sure, given the quality they have in the rest. But I agree that it's not good enough. It is not good enough on a position which needs to be better.
But it's gonna be interesting now to see Rennes if they can, you know, keep up this victory going further in the league. And I would like to give, you know, all of the praises to LePaul. I mean, he was great from the start, and I mean the second goal Ron made. And, you know, it was a lovely cushion header from LePaul.
It's amazing.
It was a really nice header.
We talked a bit about it. We haven't, you know, recognized him as much lately, but also they've been in very poor form. But it's great to see him back. I mean, like this, it's fantastic. Then we have the Jordanian Soumaré we already mentioned. That goal is a beauty as well. And the whole stadium just takes off after that. I would say LePaul, really good to see. Tamari, and of course, Samba in goal. Brice Samba is always good to see.
Wow.
I think also any team planning to beat PSG, they need to have a talk with the goalie prior to the game, because they're going to need a fantastic performance.
Yeah. And I just saw some statistics on their head-to-head history, and PSG has won 2 years in a row. So...
breaking that.
Yeah,
finally
broke their streak.
Finally, and this is something the fans can live on for a while as well.
Yeah, definitely. Next game, Paris FC versus Lens. 5-0 for Lens.
Fantastic to go home from the capital with 3 points and also 5 scored goals. But I think this game, it's all about Lens quality. You can decide to see it as a Paris FC debacle and a terrible performance. But I think here we just need to look at the class from specifically Wesley Said, Florian Thauvin. I think also coming off the bench, we have Gucci, Saint-Maximin, 2 assists, and then Fofana coming in, scoring 2 goals. In the end, I think when Fofana was scoring his goals, it looked like boys against men, because they were starting to play football like if it was just a fun game. That's the quality difference was huge from start to finish. Even in the first half, you have Lens 2 other balls into the net, but ruled out for offside. A fantastic performance from Lens.
It must feel so great for them also going into this game with the confidence, knowing that if they win, they go back to the top. And we've seen Lens the whole season, and especially the last couple of games. There's a 1-0 victory or a 2-1 or something like that, but they completely smash Paris FC today, and doing so beautifully from start to finish. And I think now with back to the top, and then with some new fresh blood of Alain Saint-Maximin, coming into this game, providing 2 assists, scoring in the last game. Yes, it's going to be interesting to follow the battle now between Lens and PSG.
It's like we mentioned in the beginning, it's a fiery title race, and I would say also, looking at Lens now, they are such a team in harmony. I mean, they had Baidoo out injured, but still Malang Sarri in the defense, solid as always. I think we need to pause a little bit by looking at Paris FC performance as well. We have Ciro Immobile getting a start, playing 73 minutes. And I mean, I think just that he's playing 73 minutes is a good thing, but he did not get anything to do this game up top. I think Paris FC, they held the ball at times, but creating chances, it was impossible.
No, you can see that not much has come out of him since he joined, actually. Which is, I think we probably expected more from such a
profile striker.
Yeah, profile striker, really. So I think we probably expected more from him joining Paris FC and could bring the accumulated amount, so much football played, such a professional player.
Yes, and that's the thing. I think he needs more to play with. He needs more balls. He needs things to do. But I think at some point this game, it felt a bit also like Paris FC had given up. I think the last 2 goals, it felt sloppy. I think when they came out for the second half, they actually acted like a team and tried to put some pressure. But then you have a penalty. Thauvin scores that penalty 3-0. And from that moment on, I think they actually need to sit down and say, what happened? Yes, we are 3-0 down. The game is lost. But they need to be a bit better closing the game, not being humiliated. Because 5-0 at home is not a good feeling heading into the spring now and finishing off this season. They are not completely in the safe zone yet. We've talked a bit about them as if they are safe. Yeah. But Paris FC needs to watch themselves. And I think also the back position where they have the defenders, I think none of them, Kolodziejczak, Otavio or Coppola, performed at a very well level. Of course, tough opponent.
Yeah, tough opponent. And as you said, I mean, Paris FC are a couple of points ahead of the relegation battle, but that can turn around quickly. And for Immobile, I mean, this was his second start, and it was a mediocre performance from him, but also a great launch today. And I don't think anyone really increased their shares from a Paris FC perspective. So it's just one of them games, I guess, you have coming from a team at the bottom of the league, throughout the season. You have these runovers where you get completely demolished from time to time.
For sure. And I think if we talk the whole back line in Paris FC doing a bad game. I would say almost the whole team in Lens doing a good performance. I want to call out, though, the January signing, Rudy Matondo, the youngster, 17-year-old, getting a start already in Paris FC, I think is impressive given his age. It was a bit of a nightmare game to start, but it's still impressive to see such a young player playing on this level already. And I think we're going to see more of him as we go.
OM versus Strasbourg. OM coming from a 5-0 loss against PSG, and with the introduction of the new coach, Jacques Abordonado.
Good name.
Good name. And starting well. I mean, OM scoring the first goal. I saw the celebrations on the sideline, and looked well until, as what's now kind of a habit for OM, conceding late goals and just getting a draw.
Yeah, I think, like you say, the even game overall, but I think 2-2 in the end is a fair result. And it leaves a very bad taste when you concede in the 97th minute at home, when I think the fans have already started to feel that, okay, just, close this game now, we can go home and we have 3 points in the direct qualification Champions League race. But instead they leave and the crisis just continues, and the bad feelings continues. And I think I would like to, of course, look a bit at the team. I think it's a nice goal scored by Greenwood. He's doing a good game again, and Guiri also, Aubameyang also performing. But overall, I would say it's not really...
It's not like they can't focus for 90 minutes. They don't have it to be able to finish off a game. It's like they do a good 60-70 minutes, but then when it's needed the most, they are not right there, or I mean they're not head on. I mean, moving into the last minute, they give Strasbourg a couple of chances.
Yeah.
First a header, and then there's another ball coming in, and it's kind of a clumsy situation. I'm not sure if it's Ware perhaps who just, I don't know what he does. He kicks him or something. Penalty. And then I don't even know what to say about the penalty. I mean, from both Panicelli and Rulli. It's probably one of the worst penalties I've seen, and one of the worst goalkeeper performances I've seen.
Because it's a goal. And that's the key thing. That's the key thing. But
it's a bad penalty.
Yeah, we discussed this a couple of weeks ago. Can you score a bad penalty, or can you? But yeah, and I think we talked about crisis, and this is now a crisis. You have the manager De Zerbi. If we're gonna follow the timeline, we follow them and the terrible, horrible performance in Bruges when they crashed out of the Champions League. Then we have a situation where they lose against the fiercest rival at the moment, PSG. And now they concede in the end. And I think, Jeff, you're getting a bit at the mentality of the players. Something is not right. You need to be able to play 90-plus minutes of football and get the result and go. Against Paris FC, they also conceded late. And it's something is off. And now you have the situation, a bit chaotic club situation, where the sporting director, Benatia, just now, yesterday, has stepped down. And then you have a vacuum. Because he and De Zerbi, they were, if I've understood media right, a great partnership with great trust and feelings for each other. And of course, first you had De Zerbi after the PSG game actually deciding together with the club to part ways. And now you have a sporting director leaving. You have fans doing protests in the stands. You have a very high volume of criticism. And of course, it's not an optimal environment for the players.
No.
Going out to play it's hostile. It's not going to be fully supportive, but I still, you can't just blame management or sporting directors. You have to look down at the pitch and ask the players what's happening. They are the ones that needs to do the job.
Yeah, I saw they switch around with their position. Like some games they do 3 defenders, some games they do 4, some games they do 5. And then they switch out Medina and Balerdi, and some games they have Aguerd and Pavard. And I don't know if this inconsistency also kind of makes the team Maybe they don't know where they have each other or something. I don't know.
But then it could be that they need to get back to the basics. I mean, the club needs to sort all the structural things out with the sporting director, who's going to manage them in the future, because I've understood that Abardonado is just an interim solution. They need to find a permanent solution on all positions, but I think they also need to get back to defense, the basics of defense, because if you concede late in games, dropping points I always believe it boils down to defense. Greenwood will score his goals, and then the rest of the team needs to sort out. But it's also very interesting now to follow in the media the spectacle of what's going on in the club. I think Benatia has said he will talk more about it in the future, but not at this heated moment when he has stepped down. And it will be interesting to follow here. I've understood from media outlets that there was some schism between Greenwood and Benatia, where some reports say they haven't spoken or ignored each other for quite some time. It will be interesting to follow, but it's not good down in Marseille, that's for sure.
I also think it was interesting to see Gary O'Neill, who I don't give that much praise, to actually be more active in the game in terms of making substitutions when they were needed to. I mean, Nanasi came in as a substitute, providing.
Impact.
Yeah, I mean, he scored. And then, also other players contributing with the mentality and fresh legs to get that point. I think also that you have Fofana coming in late, but also bringing in a threat, and Yassin also. So I think that's something that Gary O'Neill has lacked the last couple of games. Not using his bench enough. So important point for Strasbourg, because they got Lyon and Lens coming up. So important point for them.
Giving him some kudos, I like that. We've been questioning Gary O'Neill, but credit where credit is due. I also must give a little bit of credit to Panichelli for late in a game in a tough away stadium. Go out and take a penalty. You remember a few weeks ago only, he missed an important penalty against PSG. But to still have that confidence and to feel that the club has the confidence in you and your teammates. And now it played out the way it did, but he scores, and I think it's important to get back. He's another player we have seen a bit of a drop at least in the production performance when it comes to scoring since Gary took over. And it's good, like with LePaul, to see these strikers back in form.
League check. We have Lens back on top, and Lyon going further away from Marseille, and now has 13 wins in a row.
Incredible performance.
Yeah.
I mean, they were struggling last summer, and struggling last year partly, and now they are really in a good place. And let's see how far it can take them. Only 7 points behind Lens. Jeff, can they make a push for the title as an outsider? Lyon?
Good question. I mean, if they continue this streak, I don't see why not. But I would still give Lens and PSG the advantage.
Still 7 points.
Yeah, still 7 points. And I think, Lyon's performance against Nice this game, I mean, they won 2-0, but it wasn't a convincing 2-0. So I think we will rather sooner than later see Lyon dropping points.
Yeah, I agree. It was an even game, so let's see. But then Auxerre, crucial 3 points in the bottom against Metz, and things are shaking up a bit down there. You have Nantes and Metz bottom, 14 and 13 points, and not safe, but now on the qualification spot, Auxerre with 17 points. Only 5 points up now to Paris FC. I think Sinayoko, not back in the score sheet, but he should have gotten that goal. It was a double deflection, and he did all the work. You have a nice goal as well by Danois, the third goal that Auxerre scored, and it was snowing in Metz. In the end, it looked like this team for sure is going down. I dare to say, after last week's episode, we discussed a bit about the loser of this game. Will they be ready for Ligue 2? And I think we can almost already say bye to Metz, because they were down 3-0, and then they scored a consolidation goal in the end. But now it should be bye-bye. Yeah. Another thing that happened this weekend, which has happened now 3 weeks in a row, is that a 10-man team against an 11-man team opponent has scored and won. You had PSG versus Strasbourg 3 weeks ago. Last week you had Lyon. Even though Endrick was out, they actually won that game. And then you have now another time where Le Havre beats Toulouse.
So that's maybe why Metz is not winning any games. They need to get a red card.
They try. They've tried that.
They can try against PSG next week.
They can try. I think they should try anything they can find now. But I want to give a shout out as well to Soumaré for Le Havre. 2 goals, and I mean he keeps scoring. He keeps bringing in the points, and Le Havre is a team to watch now. I think great atmosphere at the stadium, and being for the whole game 1 man down, still grabbing the 3 points against a pretty tough opponent to lose. I think it's impressive. And yeah, we need to give Mpasi as well, the goalkeeper, some credit there, grabbing points. But overall, anything you would say looking at the table now, some things have happened. A bit of shaking up. Monaco is making a run for European football, perhaps.
Yeah, I think they've looked very good recently, and defensively they've taken a big step in the right direction. I think the loan of Ves has been very good, and you will get into that later, but it's going to be interesting to see them play PSG tomorrow in the Champions League.
It'll be very good. And I have to also shout out one thing for everyone to go and look. If you haven't seen Rémi Lazzary's goal for Brest against Lille, it's a banger and a must-see. That together with Danois' 3-0 goal versus Metz. If anyone has some time to spare, go and look it up. Club of the Week. As you know by now, every week we will look into one Liga club and give you some information that we think you should know about them. And this week it's Toulouse. And Dennis, give it to us. What do we need to know about Toulouse?
I think first thing, they are sometimes called Les Violettes.
The purple.
The purple color, yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful color, I must say. Then we have a very famous football player, Matuidi, born in Toulouse, not play there, but born in Toulouse.
World Cup winner.
Yeah.
I feel like Matuidi was almost like this hardworking midfielder. You know, then you had Kanté. You have this type of hardworking midfielders, Gattuso, and you just love to see them. They don't make much noise, but they do all the hard work, and their clubs win big things, and national team, of course, as with Matuidi. Okay, so he's from Toulouse. Very nice.
He's from Toulouse. Also played the PSG and Juventus, of course.
Many games in PSG.
Yes. Earlier in his career, he played for Saint-Étienne, and as it looks now, they might have a chance to actually play in Ligue next season.
We want them back. We need them back.
Yeah, we need them back there. The team actually went in bankruptcy in 2001. Went down to the 3rd division. And then we had a local entrepreneur entering, saving the club, and then they were back in Liga after just 2 years.
Okay, that's great. I mean, we had Valentine's Day recently. I think this is truly romantic when you have local entrepreneurs going in, saving the local pride and football club and just bringing it back. Isn't that the love story we need these days?
Yeah, but if you check out the reality today, we have the capitalism all over it. Today it's owned by Redbird Capital, who also people might know from being the owners of Milan and indirect minority owner of Liverpool, as they own 10% of the Fenway Sports Group.
Damn.
Did you have to ruin the Valentine Day vibe? Okay, but any good players then? I mean, what do we have from the youth side in Toulouse historically?
So we have Fabien Barthez and Aban Lafont, who became the youngest goalkeeper ever to debut in Toulouse, just at 16 years of age.
Oof, okay.
Very young.
All respect to Lafont, but Barthez, what a player. I mean, our generation growing up with Barthez, he is, he's the image of a classic goalkeeper for me. With this, I mean, one thing that was always talked about is the fact that he smoked. I don't know, we should call Barthez and see. I don't know if he smokes now at age 54, but I know that was a thing. And also he used to wear sweatpants.
And I mean, no one can disagree with the fact that he was a great goalkeeper, but I remember him the most. I mean, I was a bit too young to watch him on a week in, week out basis, but I remember him the most from conceding the goal against Roberto Carlos. That famous free kick. That's where I remember him the most for.
Damn.
That free kick.
Yes.
Is that the most famous free kick we have in history? And it must be one of them, top three.
I guess Beckham against Greece also up there.
One. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's one of them. It's one with that curl, right?
Yeah.
The spin.
I'll probably say it's the most. Yeah, it's the most famous free kick.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, I heard once that Barthez was very superstitious, and that he always had red briefs underneath when he played in the football matches.
What?
It's a bit of a Valentine's vibe as well. Red briefs, right?
Oh, damn. Toulouse bringing the love.
Yeah, exactly.
What if, a new segment where we are talking about a what if scenario in the world of French football as well as in the footballing world. Charlie is doing the presentation today.
Oof. Then I want you to consider this one. What if, by the start of this season that we're currently in, Ousmane Dembélé instead started playing in Metz? And in the PSG attacking force, we would have the Metz striker Diallo. Where would we be right now? Where would Metz be? Where would PSG be? Ousmane Ballon d'Or Dembélé playing in Metz, not PSG.
I mean, I think, as with every team sport, it takes a team to win. And Dembélé, being the quality player, I mean the world star player is, I think he could do some magic to to Metz.
But the question is, would they still be in the relegation battle though?
I think Dembélé would probably be hospitalized because of all the bruises he would encounter playing for Metz as their top player, you know. Yeah. Week in and week out he will get battered from the defenders from Auxerre or, you know, somewhere else. You know, so he'll be smashed.
Yeah.
But I still want to get at, do you think Metz with Dembélé from the start of the season would be where they are now? I don't think so. No. I think they would have been at least 5 positions higher. No. That's how good of a player he is.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we see Kebal doing great work for Paris FC. Not that he's alone in the team doing all the work, but
clear MVP.
Yes, clear MVP. And I think Dembélé would be in a similar situation in Metz in that case.
But PSG then, with Diallo up top, would they be able to push for Champions League glory without Dembélé?
No, definitely not. He'd probably be at the bench, having a bit more pocket money, roaming the streets of Paris.
But I think that's the thing. PSG would, I'm pretty sure, with the squad they have, they would still be top. I think they would be a few more points behind Lens, because that's how great of an impact Dembélé has. But they would still be, I don't know, top 3 in Liga. And maybe they would, I mean, even have the same amount of points. But I think when it comes to Europe, they would struggle way more without Dembélé, because when you look at the Champions League glory last season and then you look at this season, I mean, he has done some fantastic work. But Okay, so Metz not in the relegation zone and PSG still top, but maybe a bit less. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, they have Ramos.
Is that a is that meant to make us feel safe that they would? I mean, he is a much better player, of course, but I've not been too impressed by Ramos, to be honest.
No.
But I think Diallo, safe to say, he would be on the bench somewhere.
Yeah,
or in the training ground.
I think so. Yeah.
We are back with some Champions League football going into the knockout stages, and we have a French knockout game. We have Monaco versus PSG, and Monaco, who's back in shape, playing PSG. Interesting game. What are our thoughts? Are there any way that Monaco can knock out PSG in 2 games?
I gave them very little chance, to be honest. But I think from PSG's side, it's the wrong time to face Monaco. To your point, they are back. I mean, they're heading back into shape and form, and they have Adingra scoring 2 goals now against Nantes. New signing coming in and performing well. And I think it must bug PSG a bit as well that they actually lost this game last time around now in the late autumn. But then, of course, you had Minamino playing and scoring goals. But I would give, over 2 legs, I would give... 10% chance that Monaco can make it past this PSG because they are simply too good. But it's a bit of a iffy timing. What do you say, Dennis?
I think PSG will win.
Simple as.
Yeah, I think they're just too good of a team. I don't see Monaco going past PSG and going forward in the Champions League now.
I think also over 2 games, PSG big advantage. But hopefully for us as viewers, Monaco can put up a fight in the first leg and bring some action into the second game.
Would be good to see. And also I think the good thing for PSG is that they're facing off Metz this weekend at home. So I don't think they need to rest players right now. They can rest them against Metz and they will still have a sure victory.
And that's the opposite for Monaco because they're playing Lens.
They're playing Lens.
And that's a great advantage for Lens. I mean, they are not playing European football as PSG are, so they can focus on the league and on the cup. So that's very grateful for them. And also just a quick one on the Europa League, also played on Thursday. We have Lille versus FK Crvena Zvezda from Serbia.
That's a tough one. I think, they're starting off at home, but it's gonna be tough. Always these Europa games. Yeah, the atmosphere, it's tense and it's a big game for the clubs involved. So that's gonna be tough. And also, Lille, they have not put the shape together.
No, they are in a horrible form. They got 2 draws and 3 losses in their last 5 league games. And actually, FK Crvena came before them in the league, also in the Europa League. So, tough one for Lille now with a hectic schedule coming up ahead.
And I think playing away eventually to Crvena Zvezda is always a very tough game with a tough atmosphere. But also looking for Lille, they need to get in shape now in Europe, but they also need to get shape in the league. And if we look ahead to the weekend, they have Angers away, which has proven to be quite a tough one for several clubs this season. And even more so, you mentioned Lens, important home game against Monaco. Hopefully for Lens, there's some tired legs. But is there any... PSG Metz... maybe no shocker that huge favorites PSG.
I just want to mention with the Crvena Zvezda, they've made 69 goals this season in their league. So I think it's probably the best team in Serbia by far. A very interesting opponent there.
The Lille defense might be in trouble. We have to see. But then looking ahead to the weekend, is there anything we need to specifically look out for? I think
It'll be funny to see if Metz could, stand up against PSG, or if it's just going to be a slaughter. And also, I think Lens, Monaco now. Monaco, who's been performing well recently, and Lens with this great performance just had a game. That'll be a nice game. And Strasbourg, Lyon. I think that are probably the top 3 games for me that I'm most looking forward to see.
If I'm gonna give I think Auxerre Rennes as well is interesting. You have Auxerre coming off of that victory finally, and they actually managed to score some goals as well. But then they face off Rennes with the interim manager, did fantastic things against PSG. So it's not an easy one. But if Auxerre could grab 3 points there, it would be vital. Another one, if I'm gonna give my suggestion, I see a 0-0 game, and that's Nice-Lorient on Sunday. 0-0. I'm calling it out. Do you have any outcomes that you can see, Dennis?
We have Nantes and Le Havre. I think that's an interesting game. I believe Le Havre will win.
When will it end, though, this trouble for Nantes? I mean, at some point they need to grab some points.
Yeah, they are really struggling now. Just 1 point beyond, just 1 point over Metz, who's lost. And but I don't know. Le Havre has been doing well recently, and I have a hard time seeing Nantes beating Le Havre this weekend. Otherwise, I also think Strasbourg-Lyon, very interesting game.
Who would you say is the favorite heading into the Sunday evening game with the top one, Strasbourg-Lyon?
I mean, Lyon, given the streak,
Hendrik is back.
Yeah, Hendrik is back as well. I think Lyon will maybe go even, but I think Lyon might take this one.
What do you say, Jeff? Strasbourg, Lyon.
Lyon has been on a good streak, but I was not impressed about their performance against Nice, so maybe reality will catch them. And this might be the first game in a long time where they get a draw. I don't know. Advantage also playing home, Strasbourg. I think they're gonna come with confidence. Slight advantage Lyon, but I think Strasbourg have a good chance.
But one thing is for sure, it will be a great game to finish off a great Ligue 1 weekend. So that is it for this week. Follow us on socials, subscribe, and give us a rating wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember to tell a football-loving friend. For queries, you're always welcome to reach out at lefootpodcast@gmail.com. Now we want you to have a great week and see you next Monday. Au revoir.